Hey everyone, Frugal Samurai here. Welcome again to another video. So today's video is going to be a very simple and quick introduction to an asset class that has seen exponential growth in the last few years, and that of course is exchange traded funds, or ETFs for short. With a total global market cap in excess of $4 trillion, it's safe to say that ETFs have now become a mainstream asset class. But first, what is an ETF? Well, an ETF is a collection of investments that trade just like stocks on an exchange. They are generally used to track the performance of a specific market index. Being exchange traded, ETFs are bought and sold just like regular stocks. For example, if you want to invest in the overall ASX 200 index, you may want to buy an ETF that mimics its movements. You can also buy ETFs that tracks other market indices as well, for example the S&P 500 or the Nasdaq 100, or even other market sectors such as commodities like gold, oil, or even foreign exchange. So how does an ETF work? In simple terms, an ETF provider first considers a universe of assets, for example stocks or bonds, currencies, commodities and the like, and what they do is then they create a basket of them and assign a unique code to it. Investors like you and I can then go out and buy a share of that basket on an exchange, just like buying regular stocks in a company. Buyers and sellers can then trade that ETF throughout the day, just like with stocks. ETFs are available for a range of asset classes and individual assets, including Australian and international share indices, or even individual sectors of the stock market, such as with financials or real estate. ETFs can also include broader sectors such as commodities, precious metals, foreign currency, bonds, and the like. So next up, let's look at the pros of ETFs. The first up is diversification, as ETFs allows you to buy a basket of shares or an asset in a single trade. This can help with diversification within an asset class. Additionally, they can allow you access to sectors of the market which may be difficult or expensive to access. The second one is transparency, as ETF providers publish their net asset value, or NAV, daily. The net asset value is the market value of the ETF's assets after fees, interest and other expenses are deducted. This allows you to continually track how the underlying assets are performing. The third one is their low cost. A lot of ETFs have ridiculously low management fees. For example, one of the lowest is the iShares Core ASX 200 ETF, which has a management fee of just 0.09%. Now compare this to some managed funds or mutual funds with management fees of around 1, even 2%. So we looked at the pros, but what about the cons? Now the first one is market or sector risk. Because the ETF tracks the underlying market or the sector, although you are diversified, that market or sector could fall in value, and hence the ETF falls in value. Now the second one is currency risk. If the ETF invests in overseas assets, such as in the US, then you are facing the risk of currency movements impacting your returns. Although there are some ETFs which are currency hedged. This means that any currency fluctuations are mitigated. Now the third main con is liquidity risk. Some ETFs invest in asset classes which are not as liquid. For example, in emerging markets. What this means is that it can be difficult for some ETF providers to create or redeem securities due to the lack of liquidity. So now that we've looked at the pros and cons, which one should you invest in? Well, like any other investment, it all comes down to your level of comfort and risk tolerance. But with over 200 ETFs here in Australia to choose from across a whole range of market sectors and indices, which one do you choose? Personally, during times like this, I tend to stick with the big players. Here in Australia, you could do a lot worse than choosing from the big three providers of iShares, Vanguard, and State Street Spider. But for those of you who are especially keen, I'll leave a link below with a fairly comprehensive list of over 200 market-leading ETFs here in Australia for you to choose from. So I hope you guys liked this introductory video to ETFs. Let me know in the comments below what you think. And before you go, don't forget to hit that subscribe button, click on the bell, turn on notification on, and I'll see you guys all next time. Bye bye.